Okay, so it looks like everybody's ready. Welcome. So this is our March meeting. We have, looks like a full board. I don't think anybody's missing. Jane's missing. Okay. So quorum, definitely have a quorum. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the minutes. Everybody had a chance to look over the minutes? Any changes or edits? Discussion? Motion to approve the minutes of Betty. Yeah, presented. Lori's seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain?
Abstain. I was absent.
Okay, one abstain. Okay. We don't have any citizens. Gerald, any phone calls of anybody? Ram. So we'll move on for that. President's time, I would just like to say we had an amazing Kaylee. For those of you that came to the Kaylee and were dancing the night away. We've had 162 162 people. And made a nice chunk of change. So there'll be more on that from the development committee when they have their meeting. But the sponsors were wonderful. Mountain Home, Bed and Breakfast, and Transform, and of course Fossil. So they covered the expenses. So those ticket sales are ours in the bank. So it was just beyond just the finances of it. People had a blast. The room was filled and people were dancing all night long. We had a bus come down from Winchester, from Westminster, Canterbury. They brought 15 people.
Oh my goodness.
So the reach went beyond. And we had a chance to educate them because they were like, is this part of Hanley? We're like, no, it is not. We are strictly Warren County. And she was like, this library is amazing. She went around and she went home with a nice big poster of Taste for Books. So we will be seeing them again, another bus coming for Taste for Books, because they had that much fun. So, and everybody was asking, you going to do this again next year? So mark of a good program when right before it's even over, they're already asking, are you going to do it again? Band was fantastic. Can't say enough. The food was gone before some of us even had a chance to get a plate. It just was scarfed down. So Eileen's not here, but thanks to Eileen's catering skills and we peeled
60 pounds of potatoes.
60 or 70 pounds of potatoes. And things in the oven, like to make it. So big success all the way around, and all Scott's idea. So yeah, it was a great time, Scott. Other than that, we'll get into other things in development, but we'll just move on to Aaron for her report. Oh, right.
So, of course, again, it's long because there's always something going on. And not just the Kaylee. So in January, for general updates, we had another very successful puzzle contest. Our very own Lisa was the one who helped organize that and went very well. We had about 22 teams, I believe, overall. I actually competed myself. We were the last. We had the same team who won last year, won this year, and nothing slowed them down. People were throwing money like crazy, trying to give them the oven mitts, and it still didn't matter. They just went through it. So that was fun. We also had balloons, so that if you paid an extra, was it 10 or 15? So 15 gold? 15. Yeah, 5 for the mitts. Yeah, it would make you not immune to getting the mitts, but yeah. And Play Favorites helped us get the puzzles again like last year, and they were super excited. They definitely want to partner again next year for another one. So, and people had, like I said, people had a blast. We had all ages. We had some kids that formed their own team, some of our regular patrons, some we hadn't seen before. So, yeah. And then we had our staff development day in January, which went really well. You may have seen some of the videos that we made as part of our winter reading program. We had staff do Winter Olympics. So they did things like the James Patterson book jump, or like they were jumping over books, and then they had to do like the curling and things. It was a blast. But we had general updates for staff, and then we also had some guest speakers, including our 401k people, come in, so staff would have an ability to sit down and make appointments with them. So we have always so much going on. We've done a new team up with the Warren Heritage Society, Caitlin and Tina with the adult reference, as well as Amy. We met with them and for 250th events that are going on, because we're working for with the county tourism committee. So things are going great with that. We'll be doing a lantern program at the first 250th event, which is on April 18th at the Warren Heritage Lanterns to Liberty. And so I recommend everybody attend that event because it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of different types of vendors, as well as demonstrations, kind of like a Heritage Day. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also doing a team up with the Heritage to do Third Thursday programs. So some months we'll have a program at the Heritage Society. Some months we'll have it here at the library. There'll be different things going on. I believe this month they're doing a music program at the Heritage. And then we'll be doing some things here. I know we want to do some things in the studio, like for genealogy and other like history guest speakers and things. So I'm not reading absolutely everything. The only other thing for general updates, we did have our budget hearing on February 24th. It went very well. Thank you for everyone who showed up for it. I really appreciate the support. I think it went absolutely really well. And we'll see how that goes once things progress with the budget. And then for facility, we still are having some ongoing HVAC issues. Carrier did perform an on-site visit the beginning of February to give some more information to hopefully present an overview of what we may need for a full replacement down the line. We also had some issues with some of our lights that electrician did do an on-site visit to assess what we need to have that taken care of. And then big shout out to our maintenance technician, Mitchell. He has been phenomenal being able to handle some things that normally we would have to get outside help in order to fix. Things like replacing the sensors for the toilets in the restrooms. Usually we'd have to have an electrician come out and figure that out. He was able to just do that on hand, figure out, take the part apart and put it all back together again. So he's been a big blessing. Things for usage and services. So for our stats, February was not available at the time. We're still a little bit down with circulation. We are still trying to work with vendors. I put it down a little bit later, but we did just we're in the process of switching over our main book vendor. We did before Baker and Taylor, who we usually went with before. They were one of the biggest of the bunch. There's only really a couple of handful of book vendors that cater to libraries. They completely went under during the fall. So we were switching over to the other big book vendor, which is Ingram. We've used them in the past. The reason we originally switched was because we were having issues with shipping costs. They're pretty bad when it comes to getting books in. If you're not within a certain range, they will charge extra for every parcel of books that you get. During this time, the last 6 months, Amazon has swooped in and taken over that area in the market. We have made the process of slowly switching over. We're still using both. But the reason why we were looking at Amazon is because of consistency. We're able to get things in a timely manner compared to a lot of the other vendors. And it's cheaper because we don't have to, it's Prime, so you don't have to pay for shipping at all. And that's a big cost saving. And as far as the discounts we usually get for books, we're part of it's called Malia, which is a contract agreement through the region. Their discounts are almost on par or better. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing that kind of shift. And hopefully things are coming in a much more timely manner than that. But overall, for more services, even though that's still down, traffic count is about the same. And being up over 2%, again, over FY25. Total patrons is up 2%. Programming attendance is still staying way up at 24% over last fiscal year. Same thing with databases and volunteer hours at 22. Also, the DVD reorganization project, you may have noticed if you're looking through the DVDs, has now pretty much been completely finished. Big shout out to our volunteers who are a huge help. We actually had some of them come in when we were closed during our staff day in order to help get that last effort of things shifted over. So what we did is the DVDs are now divvied up between regular movies and TV shows in order to help with browsing. Since everything was all intermingled, it's hard to find things if you're looking for something specific, or if you're just looking for a TV show. And then programming highlights, as you can see, tons of stuff going on. Winter reading actually went really well. Again, we did a Winter Olympics theme. We had about 186 registrants for adults, which for winter reading is actually pretty good. And actually, we had record numbers this year for the children's. I believe we hit 421, which is fantastic, over the 344 from last year. So kids are coming in, they are reading, which is great. A lot of other really awesome programs that we did. We're doing regular job fairs with Virginia Works. We had a couple of programs that are themed to winter reading for adults, like a DIY snow globe program that was very fun, as well as doing another trivia program. Those are actually doing very well and very popular. We can't do them all the time because of the amount of work that goes into it, but you'll be seeing more at least once a quarter or so. And then for youth and teens, we have started doing some more 250th themed programs, so you'll start seeing the logos attached to that. So it's not just the bigger events that we're teaming up with the county and other organizations. We're having some in-house. So they did one that was like kids learning about the old silhouettes art style going back even to colonial times. So they got to learn about the history of that and then how to do it themselves, as well as the story of the American flag. And they actually got to make their own little flags, and you'll see those in the picture below there. So and of course, there's many more going on, but after you're off. So any questions?
Question on circulation.
Yes.
I know we're still just a little bit down.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that we're going to be able to recover by the end of the fiscal year? Or
I'm hopeful.
likely to stay down?
I'm hopeful. If you look at the actual numbers, it's really not too much of a difference. We also did have a couple of closings during the months as well that can also affect that number.
Yeah.
But we're just about on par. It's only like a couple hundred difference or so if I'm looking at it correctly, but it's still enough to give you that little bit of a minus. Yeah.
Okay. Not a big concern.
Not at the moment, no.
Aaron, does that include Libby, the online resource for books? This circulation.
Yes, it does include it.
Okay. So
I had a question with the Amazon stuff. One, does it affect anything with state aid?
No.
And then the other was, because it's Amazon, are there things that they're not providing that normal library service vendors provide, like catalog information, that are we having to do more on our end to get the books on the shelves or into our databases?
That has been the surprising thing. They are like I said, they are coming into this market as fast as possible. So they have been all those things that we're usually getting from those other vendors, like the Mark record downloads and everything. They're adding at a very, very high pace. They're actually being quite good at it. So there's a couple of things that why we haven't switched over completely. Services that they don't quite offer yet, but from what they kind of say about their timeline, I would say within the next 6 months they're going to have available, at least by next fiscal year. So yeah, they're offering pretty much the same thing as some of the other vendors for the most part. So what's the other question?
Mainly, or is our staff going to have a lot of work on their hands because of the switch to Amazon? Plus, is there anything to do with state aid, because this is not a normal library vendor?
Yeah, no, the state aid, they don't really care where you're getting your books as long as you're getting the books.
Okay.
And that's one of the things we take into account when we're looking at the vendors we're using is it cost effective compared to the other vendors? And so we're looking at each one of them as far as what their reputation is, what they offer, and the cost involved.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is a stupid question. I feel like I'm a little naive in this area, but when you mention that circulation is down, you usually pivot right to because we can't get books. Is it that we don't have a lot of new books and that really impacts what our circulation numbers are, or are there other reasons?
There could be other reasons too. Like I said, we did have a couple of closings and stuff like that, and we are looking at other things too, as well as making sure we're weeding at a normal rate as well, because you can get browsing fatigue if your shelves are too shelved, stuck together. So like we had done a weed when we were getting ready for this project on the DVDs, and we did see a surge in circulation after we did get rid of some of them. So that and reader's advisory and things like that. So we are looking at other things as well, but I would say though, especially in the fall and going into the first part of the year, like not being able to get the James Patterson book until, a month or two later definitely caused
Yeah. So we go out and buy it at Amazon.
which we're not the only one. There's other libraries seeing the same problem, same thing. Baker and Taylor they were in business for 150 years, and a large portion of libraries across the nation were using them. So, and they were very quiet about it. So everybody panicked pretty quickly. So part of the reasons why when we were originally switching over to Ingram, the vast load of accounts that they had to take on, plus they were having issues with one of their warehouses. That's when we were hopeful, but we weren't seeing the result that we wanted, which is why we started moving more to Amazon when they started adding more features.
I saw they also had a paper issue, and their printers are overseas as well, which delayed shipping for them.
For Amazon or Ingram?
For Ingram.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
But we were having an issue with quality as well. They switched to a new automated boxing system in the warehouse, and we were having it, like the actual cardboard for the boxes was so flimsy that we were USPS would have to rewrap it in route because the whole box just fell apart and then the books get damaged. So that's how we can't put on the shelf. We have to go through the process of getting sent again, and that could be 2 to 3 weeks on top of not being able to get everything timely.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay. Before we move on with the rest of the agenda, I should have in my president's time. I need to cancel later in our closed session, make a change to the agenda. We're going to strike item B. And so I need a motion to accept the agenda with changes.
And there is no
C. That's
a typo.
Typo.
I move that we strike agenda item 13B.
And see.
And C, sorry, third.
C's a technical error, but yes.
A second.
Louise got the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Finance Committee, over to you, Michelle.
Yeah, so in February, we had actually we had a couple finance committee meetings, and that was in preparation for the that was in preparation for the meeting we had at the Board of Supervisors for our budget. Also in those meetings, we discussed the MOA. So I believe the MOA is with the attorney. We've got one ready to go, Melody's got that. The meeting at the supervisor, I think many of you were there, went very well. It was very refreshing. It felt very interactive. I thought it just felt right. Like it felt, okay, it felt right for the community. It felt right it just felt right. I can't say anything better. It was a good feeling, very mutual. We're going to do what's right for this with our community on both sides. So that's all that is in the meeting. One thing we did decide, we are still meeting monthly. I will say one comment I heard at the Kaylee was, who catered this for you? And I said, we did it, people did it themselves. We're saving money. So I think, we need to commend everybody, the staff, at the money we've been saving, and the cuts we've been making to make this year work. And we also thank the 100,000 that we did get on Tuesday at the Board of Supervisor meeting a couple weeks ago. So that is helping us. We are going to go into right now, we will be going into 2027 without any reserve at this point. So what that means is usually, we start the year with reserve for that first pay period. Right now, it looks like we're not going to have that. So we are still in need. We are still working on things. The 100,000 is helping us. We're going to keep our doors open, but we're now looking at, okay, well, how are we going to make it through that first month before our first distributions and, before we can get things moving again. So we're still not out of the woods, and that's what I want to stress with everybody. So it's still critical for the Taste of Books to be successful and all these things that we have lined up. But so I just want to stress that. So with that being said, I'll give you some balances. The endowment is $1,117,072. Again, we don't want to touch that, but we may have to. Just leaving that out there. Donor emergency fund is $262,005. The Huber Foundation is $70,269,000. Our operating fund is $97,146, and our reserve is $129,620. And then we've got our community foundation funds of $8,159, and so right here, and another one of $8,202. And these are endowment funds as well. Now it sounds like I'm throwing a lot of dollars out there, but the ones that we really work off of are three. It's the operating of 97, the reserve of 129, and then this donor emergency fund, which is 262. The reserve does include the 100,000 that we've received already. And when you think about it, we spend over 100, our expenses are about 100,000 a month.
Operating, not reserve.
Operating. The 97 includes the operating, or includes 100,000.
Yep.
Sorry. So let me get that. So when you add those together, and our expenses going out the door are over 100,000 per month. So when you add those together, you can see where we're going to be tight, very tight. And think of the endowment fund as your 401k, something you don't want to get into. But anyway, so those are, it seems like I might be throwing a lot of money out there, but a lot of money, needs to go out these next. We do a lot. Yeah. So that's what that is. So if you have any questions, anybody have any questions on those?
Yeah, you start losing me when you start saying the numbers of all the accounts. I'm trying to figure out which.
Okay.
I
So,
didn't see the numbers that were matching on here.
okay. So none of them will match
Oh,
the dates. Yeah. These
Dates are different.
the dates are different. This is
Right.
just, we look at the account as of today. So operating is what we work off of. So if Eileen needs to write a check or we need to pay something, that comes out of operating. That's 97,146
As of now.
as of today.
right.
That could change as of tomorrow. Reserve is what we pull from once that goes down enough and she needs to make payroll. That's 129,620.
So that's just to top off operating.
Yeah. That's usually where we have a little bit of money going into the next year. That's what helps us. And then the emergency fund, which is kind of really what's helped us get through this year. That's where that big donation, that's 262,000. So those are the three key. I would call those the three key.
Okay.
Okay.
And the investing account?
We don't have an investment. We have an endowment.
Endowment, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's 1,000,001. That's 1.1 million.
And that has not been touched except for the 3%, but that was the beginning of the fiscal year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of that, if you think of it in terms of your own, I think that is our 401k.
It's still listed here as investment account funding, 4,000.
And where?
4,000 says investment account funding. That's what threw me off.
Budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might want to get that changed.
So that would be the 3%.
But you're right. You're right.
Oh,
It's still in QuickBooks.
oh,
What
the
it is
day.
that.
Okay.
Oh,
That's fair. That's
Thank you
fair.
for the catch.
Yeah.
That's fair. Good.
We have one more state payment coming this
Yeah.
year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that will be 62,000.
So, Michelle, my takeaway from all this is we're 3/4 of the way through the fiscal year. If you look at budget versus actual, we're tracking almost exactly according to plan.
Yes.
Regardless of,
Yeah.
take a look at the precarious nature of
Yes.
our fundraising and donor emergency funds have been sufficient that we've been able to get
Yes.
3/4 of the way through the year on plan. We haven't made any reductions, and now we need to bring it home for the last 3 months.
Exactly right.
And we need to finish with a buffer so that we can start into the next fiscal year with something returns.
Right.
And That's my for me.
Yes.
For 9 months, we've been doing an amazing job, but we've got another 3 months. We got to continue to be amazing.
Yeah.
It looks here,
We can do it.
It'd be amazing.
it looks here that Eileen was saying we don't need to dig in for more funding in February. Was that because of the county coming in and helping out?
That's taking it off, like having to do another transfer from the
Yeah.
endowment account. So yes, that is correct.
I mean,
And
them coming through is another,
Emergency.
I mean, they're becoming a big part of this as well. So it's like, it's been welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was another sigh. When we got, it was like,
Big sigh.
that was a big sigh. That was a big help when we received that. Yeah. So yeah, you'll see that we should be at 67%. And we're at 65%. If you look at the income and expenses, just go to page 3. Page 1, if you look, is the income. And if you look at the upper right hand on each sheet, you'll see the 67%. That indicates where we should be. Okay. And then if you look at the total expenses at the bottom of page 3 and your total income, that shows where we are. So we are under an expense of 67%. Now we have an expense coming up this month.
HVAC.
HVAC is coming up this month. That's going to hit us. That's going to be a hit this month.
But it's within the
It's
budget.
within the current
I
budget.
know it's in budget, but
Is it a complete rip?
No.
No.
It's a major assist though, major.
It's nice and cool in here today because there was some significant work done just a few days ago.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's 62, we're at 62.7 and 65.5. So we are looking, I think we've done a very good job.
The concern is that in July 1, even
Yeah.
with funding assigned, there'll be the 2-week, you ask for the funding, but you don't get it until 2 weeks in. And the same as state aid, you don't usually see that till the middle of the month. So we have to survive that period, that pay period, that
Yeah.
section of the new fiscal year. And so that's why the reserves will.
I saw that insurance 6710 hasn't come through yet. Is that it looks like it's going to be a big hit when it comes through. Is that all at once sometime is coming up?
I believe so. I need to double check.
Yeah, but yes.
And
You have to, there's several in the actual budget where it's like you pay once a year, so it's not, you're
Yeah.
gonna see that 0 until it hits.
okay.
Utilities had not come in yet for the month of February.
Yeah.
So again, this is timing. Some of this is timing. So
Right.
utilities, I asked about utilities.
Yeah,
We
it
met-
looked a little low.
Yeah, utilities had not come in yet. Eileen will,
When the invoice hits.
yeah, when the invoice hits, she'll put those in.
And when does the lease get paid? Because I thought it was at the beginning of the year.
July.
Yeah,
Beginning of the
the
fiscal
fiscal year.
So we didn't pay it last year?
No,
Yes,
we
we
did.
did,
Yes.
Since we didn't pay it yet.
but this year.
It's paid in June, I think.
Oh, okay, so it gets paid at the end of the fiscal year.
Thanks.
It's due July 1, so
Believe me, we're on top of
If
that.
it's due in July, why?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, this starts July.
Doesn't say that's hit yet.
it was
We
walked
walked it
in.
over personally. It's got there.
But I see what you're saying. It doesn't show that it's hit yet. So
Yeah, it's this
that is,
July 1st.
yeah. So there's timing issues in this. Yeah.
All right.
So we're hoping with the new MOA that we can do some, economies of scale here too. We can, especially with like some, maybe with some insurance expenses or health insurance or whatnot.
And yeah, and we're in discussions. We're wrapping up the maintenance for the lawn care. That's wrapping up. And then hopefully we're in discussions about the lawn care going forward.
With the county or just ourselves doing it?
With the cat, we'll be in discussion about that. We'll
What can we do about that keeps your ass down?
Yeah,
Right.
we've had a few preliminary minor discussions, so hopefully we can do that on another level. How about anything else?
I think that's it for the other. I don't. Did I say that we were going to move our meeting to the first? So we're moving our meeting to the first week of the month, so that when we have this meeting, we will have already met.
Yeah.
So the finance committee will meet the first week of every month. So we are going to continue to meet every month to see this through. Any other questions?
Okay.
Nice
Anything
segue,
else?
Nice
nice
segue.
segue to development.
There you go.
Still have work to do. As Melody said to Kaylee on Friday night was very successful. We don't have final numbers yet on our costs, but Amy tells me it looks like probably we're somewhere in the $9,000 profit range on that. So that was a very successful fundraiser and a lot of fun. We've had a lot of questions about whether we're going to do this again. And we're going to take a look at that. But we'll have to evaluate how that activity fits within the context of all the other fundraising and programming activities that we have. We squeezed it in this year. And one of the things we really have to evaluate is how participation in that event affects participation for Taste for Books. Because we don't want to compete with ourselves. So we're going to look at that. Taste for Books tickets are already available for purchase. We raised the price this year from $50 to $75. But on Friday night, we had a one night only offer at last year's price. And we sold some tickets.
30 something.
I think it was 32 in out east.
Over
It was
30.
like 32 or 33 tickets, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
For Taste for Books already.
Last year's
People know a good
attendance at
deal.
Taste for Books was huger than we'd ever seen before. We overflowed the parking lot here. We overflowed Ressie Jeffries. We overflowed the street and the park next door. So we raised our price. And now we're going to have to see if we have the same
Yeah.
level of participation or if we begin to see
It will be interesting to see how that affects ticket sales this year, but we hadn't raised the price in so long,
It's about 10 years.
a really long time, that it was time, because when you look around comparatively to other events in the county, their tickets for comparable, galas and fundraisers start at 100, and ours is the best party in town. We offer so much more for the price, and yet we couldn't jump to 100 from 50. So 75 felt like a good target amount for this year. So that's where we are with that. But we don't know how the public's going to react to that. But we were at capacity last year, so everybody knows it's a good time. So
and one of the things that really makes the event is the table sponsors, where we have different organizations and sponsors putting up tables. So we're still encouraging people and organizations to sign up to be a table sponsor.
Yeah.
So one thing that each of you can do is network out and talk with folks that you know and encourage them to, if they're part of a community association or a nonprofit or
Business.
kind of a group of people that want to put a table together and have the part of the program that comes with two tickets. I mean, it's for each table. And correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't cost any money to sponsor a table as long as you provide some food.
you have to provide food.
If you don't provide food, we'll provide it for you.
Nope,
We'll charge
we're
you.
not doing that this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you have to provide food.
yeah.
How many people at a table? Is it a certain number?
You get,
Eight, nine?
each table is given 2 tickets, but you can have as many
It's
older.
the host table.
There's one organization per table.
Okay, so there's not like a mess doing where there's like.
No, no one sits at the table.
Yeah.
It's their vendor tables. Hostess.
Yes.
Everybody walks around. Right at the
And
table.
also a silent auction. Amy, can you describe some of the things that you've been able to pull in for the silent auction?
But yeah, we got managed quite a few things, and I'm trying to like think of
I can help her out. We have artwork, we have tickets to events, the Shenandoah, summer music.
Yeah, that Shenandoah.
Sorry, Phone's again, a one night stay in Midtown Manhattan, so always a nice one.
The library hotel.
We have art ordinance, and then we have some general admissions. We've got Montpelier, Monticello, and getting for foundation. Exhibition. Again, it's once the
I know what I'm voting for.
there's Monticello
Mount Vernon.
and Mount Vernon. So we got those.
Trying to stay in the theme of Virginia 250. So we were reaching out to the presidential the states so that people can go to that and have it, kind of try to tie in the VA 250 with the theme.
That's cool.
Yeah, Phoenix artwork is one of us in there. It's probably going to be over 30 items in the silent auctions. I just haven't done like signage and probably because of the camera, so I can't remember.
So all these things are in progress. The table posts, I think we're up around 15. The max is 25. And the silent auction items are coming in like crazy. Nice wooden sculpture from our regular donor. And so that everything's off and running.
Yep.
While they were doing the Kaylee stuff as well. So
Do we just send you table hosts or just
yeah,
Yeah,
just
okay.
yeah.
Randolph making all these?
I'll let you
So that's April 24th for Taste for Books.
25th.
For events.
Saturday.
And then in May, we'll have another ladies' tea. We're going to dust off of the event that was held last year. And have another Sunday afternoon tea.
What day is that?
That is
17th,
17th.
May 17th,
Okay.
Sunday.
16th is the wine.
So those are the big marquee events coming up. Meanwhile, donations continue to roll in. Really, I think you said 3 $500 checks.
Since
showed up
Friday.
over the weekend.
Yep, Friday and today. Three $500 donations, one from Massachusetts. It's just incredible. Yeah.
Is it a ladies' tea or is it a silver tea?
It's gonna be a silver tea.
Although we're thinking about changing up the theme, so it's not going to be the same setup as last year,
Yeah.
most likely.
We'll have more news on that, but we have a couple ideas to toss out there.
Okay, I'll try to get my friends to come again.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from anybody on development activities?
So 15.
Yes.
Okay.
So 15.
Cover everything for that. Case for both. Yeah. Okay. We'll turn it over to Joan for strategic plan.
In your packet, you have a copy of the latest draft of the strategic plan. The committee finished the draft at the last meeting and would like everybody on the board to take a close look and give feedback. What we'd like to see happen is that any feedback comes back, we can look at including that feedback into the draft of the strategic plan and move the strategic, and it's not too much of a change, move the strategic plan forward so that we can vote on it as a board in May. The changes to the plans are minimal, really. And you'll see as you read the plan that they're minimal changes. The changes are highlighted in yellow. So if you take a quick look, First change. Should be on instead of on.
No, we say Committee on Trustees report right here on item 9.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, it is.
Right.
But I actually looked at it and looked at this, so I was like, wait a minute.
This committee's on. This committee on trustees.
It does sound odd to me, though.
That's on a committee of trustees.
You know, she's not familiar with our committees, so I.
Not this high, I had to look.
So please take a look and get back to me with any concerns or any changes that you want to see made. Please do that before.
So if I-
Let's set a deadline, don't you think?
Okay.
Let's set a deadline of the end of April.
So if I,
So email you, end of April.
Email me.
so if I,
The committee also talked about plans for next year. We kind of, we really need to do another survey, community survey. So next year, a lot of time's going to be spent on putting together the survey. Survey doesn't get done overnight. So we'll need to work on that, and it will take a huge effort, I think, to make sure we get it out there to everybody and to make sure that it gives us reliable results, valid, reliable results.
The strategic planning committee has done such a good job, and the plan is in a really good place. So that going forward, it's a 5-year plan. So going forward, there's really not going to be, once you prove it, it's not going to be a need to meet about the plan itself. But it would be good next year to meet about how do we do a community survey, and that'll take a lot of time because those are complicated, as we found out the last time.
Yeah. Does anybody in this room have a lot of experience or even a little experience with writing surveys and publicizing surveys, etc.? And anybody have that experience that the committee can draw on?
I have experience working with large data sets and making random things brief.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
After but first we have to get the data.
so that's good to know. Keep that in mind.
Sure, they need. How was the community survey done last time? Was it mailed into all residents or online or combination of
Yeah.
Multiple methods.
Yeah, and people could come into the library and get a hard copy and do it from the library too.
I think it was also like on the radio and news media, or everybody
publicized it.
was talking about it.
Yeah, we try to publicize it as much as we could so that, that even people who didn't use the library could weigh in maybe on why they didn't use the library.
It's valuable to them.
Yeah, you have to do analog and digital both because we have a lot of people who aren't
Right.
on using social media or internet kind of thing. So you have to have a hard copy available and a method of reaching people who
Yeah.
don't even come into the library as well. And why don't they? So there'll be a lot to evaluate and consider. That's why it's going to take time over the year to formulate it.
I think Karen's volunteering.
Karen's volunteering.
No background or experience that, but I'm willing to learn and put me down to be of assistance.
To help, yeah. Any other questions for Joan?
Is there anything that we can dig up that, because my understanding is Michelle was behind a lot of that.
She was.
Survey. Is there anything we can dig up that she might have used?
Yeah, we have all the past stuff from
Okay.
the survey.
Okay. That's a nice starting point.
Yeah, at least you have a baseline.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we move on to Celeste.
for the Committee on Trustees.
Committee on Trustees.
There's one, right?
It is on.
Okay.
It's on. Oh, no, I didn't choose the name. So we have opened the application. It is on the website, and the applications for new board members are due March 23rd. So if you know somebody who is on the South River District, or someone who has some marketing communications background, fundraising, and especially with large events, we have been very blessed with a lot of knowledge that we may lose in the next few years. Yes. Legal. Yes, we would like to get somebody to back up Kim because she has children and they take priority as they should. So we'd like to get some more legal advice on the board. So if you have suggestions and you don't feel comfortable approaching them for some reason, I'm happy to do so. But they're welcome to just go to the website and fill out the application. They don't have to be approved by us in order to apply.
But it's been as somebody that I know. I mentioned to him that the applications were available. He had trouble going online and filling out the application.
He got it to work.
He did get it to work, but he struggled with it. Last time we did this route of soliciting applications, one of the folks that I talked with about submitting had trouble with the application too. Is there?
You can always tell them if they have trouble. We do have print copies at the library as well.
Is there? Apparently, it's a automatic fill kind of stuff.
It's a fillable PDF online, and so some people are not going to have that on their personal computers, which is why we have
Is
it.
that the issue?
Yeah.
I get
They
it.
can always print it out and fill it out and resend it, or they're more than welcome to. We can give them a print copy as well.
Okay.
They know when they go online that a print copy is available. That'd be important because you don't know everybody who's having
I'll
trouble.
make sure we have it listed.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to notify them before they get wrapped up in a process that they can't finish, that it's available, the application is available, hard copy is available. What I was concerned about is people would work on the application, get frustrated, and say, "Oh well, I guess they don't want me after all. They don't want to consider me after all."
They're able to start the process. If they have the software to start it, then they should be able to save it and complete it. There shouldn't be any issues there. So I'm not sure what. I find that usually that's user error.
Well, I'm not saying it's not. I just would like to make this as easy a process as possible for anybody to.
Unfortunately, I think easy is in the eye of the beholder. If you give me a fillable PDF, that's my happy spot. I'd much rather do that than to handwrite an application. So I think it's just going to be dependent on the person. If they would rather do a print, if they'd rather not have to do it on the computer, then I would say just
A Word doc to download to make it easy for people. I know that's not advisable.
print off the PDF. Yeah, they could just have to do it later.
It's they're computer savvy enough to deal with Word, but they can't deal with PDFs. Yeah, maybe it's an alternative.
It's just a print option. It's
You can come to What the Tech, and there are people. There are some people that come in that need help learning just how to use formatting in a Word document, and we don't judge anybody for what they do. They can always come in on Tuesdays.
And usually, to answer your question, Karen, usually people can open a PDF on the internet and print it.
Yes.
But Word, not necessarily if you don't have the Word software.
If you're Apple,
You
you
have to
don't
tell
have
them to
Word.
download it first before working with it. I mean, I can.
Everyone has.
Not everybody.
Have you reached out to the supervisors? Because I know we had an agreement with them before that they could submit people for us to consider as well.
I was just about to let Cheryl know that.
Okay.
Beat me to it, Louis.
Oh, sorry.
No, but we certainly wanted to pick your brain. Being the South River, that's one of the areas we'd look to see if there's a candidate that can meet some of our needs as well as be from South River. That's one of our.
I just reached out to someone. I know someone who's on it, who is an attorney. I think he does land mostly, I think. But he has some mobility issues from a fall. And so I'm reaching out to see, I think he would be good. And I was going to ask what the remote possibility of attendance, if physically it would be difficult for him to come.
That's not in our bylaws.
Okay.
Or meetings at the moment.
Okay.
It's
There's no. We did that during COVID, but it's not in the bylaws normally.
I'm not sure. I need to go visit him, but I haven't got to.
But we certainly wanted to let you know, and we can share that with the other board members that, in case they're not aware, that we've opened up applications.
Okay. What other districts are just South River? Or?
Yeah, we have multiples in the other districts, and so, but then our heavy focus right now is to try to get another South River representative.
Okay.
And then try to find some of the areas that we're going to be losing.
We do have in July spots open, so not all 3 people have to leave from South River.
Yeah. Yes.
Just like to get one more so that we're down to.
Well, I figure if you're coming off, correct?
Losing to Fork.
Near Fork.
Huh? Losing to Fork and
Alton's coming off as well.
yeah. So that's our news for the committee. She's in town.
That's
On Fork. No,
Melody,
yes, ma'am.
can you clarify, so if we're asking Board of Supervisors to submit, we're not saying give us a name, are we? We're saying encourage someone you think is
Right.
a good applicant, go through the same process.
Right.
Okay, that's what I need to hear. Thank you.
Well, and that's what I was. That makes it. I'm relieved as Fork District, and my district at this point. Or Happy Creek. The other two would concern me a little bit if we're asking for us to choose or just for us to say it's open.
Just to say it's open. If you know of anybody who might be a good candidate, then let them know that it's open and
They can apply.
they can.
It's up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So 15. Yeah. But that's where we don't even. We're between 9 and 15. It's not that we have to fill all 3, but if we can,
That would be good.
the process is open, and if we can find candidates.
So right now, an attorney, what would be your other wish list of
Celeste, marketing communications area. And then if somebody's got experience in large events, fundraising, that area, that would be the other one.
so
And that doesn't mean that, again, that doesn't mean that they have to be in one of those 3. Those are just the dream lists, but they're pluses. They're pluses, yeah.
It'd be a plus, yes. So 15. Generally, I find that when we get candidates, they're well versed in multiple areas anyway. So, and we have a group of talented people sitting at this table that can do multiple things. So
Our intent would be this year to interview everybody. We did not interview everybody 2 years ago because we just had way too many applications and we couldn't make it work in the timetable that we had. Last year, because of the number that we had, it was easy to interview everybody. So again, that is our intent. Now, if I end up with 20 applications, that's not going to happen.
yeah. Okay, well, that gives me, though, an idea of specific we know.
that's, yeah. I figured you know everybody. Any other questions for Celeste? Okay, back over to you, Scott, for building committee.
You already talked about HVAC issues and upcoming expenses for We're still waiting on Carrier's proposal for a full replacement of the listing system. Once we get that, we'll bring it to the county for conversation. So we'll start looking at getting that included in their capital planning. Also with the grass cutting, we had a really great service this past year. But we need, before we sign a contract for the coming year, we've got to evaluate what services we can look for from the county. Mike Berry is going to come do a site visit here and take a look and talk with us and share some ideas and thoughts about that topic on Wednesday this week. So that was a real.
Could you say what he represents? I don't think everybody knows Mike
Mike
Berry.
is the director for Public Works in Warren County.
Okay.
He oversees all of the maintenance activities for all the county buildings and facilities, except for what Parks and Rec does.
Do we need Donna's supervisor as well? You'll probably have Donna who came to, went through the building before. Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully.
This was a real positive outcome from the change in attitude with the county and the relationship. So we're really looking forward to talking with Mike in a couple of days. And that's it.
Okay. All right. We have a new representative for Fossil here tonight with us. I'd like to introduce Nayoka. And
I'm Nayoka. I am the new president of Fossil. We had a little bit of a change up. So I guess I'll start with that. So I am the new president. Our new vice president is Chantal Gamble. We do not currently have a secretary. Our treasurer is still Jean Sammy, and we actually already voted on our replacement treasurer starting July because Jean falls off, and that will be Kathy Foley. Everything else I've got.
I was like,
with me.
I bet you have a long list, right?
I'm trying my best here.
you're fine.
All right. So because we had one person fall off, and then we have not one more, but two more falling off in July, we did at least recruit one new board member. So we have one additional board member that we added, which is good, but we're still looking for, of course, more board members ourselves because we are only at 10 and two more falling off would take us down to 8. So definitely, no, mostly our programs is what I'll talk about though. So we received a lot of positive feedback for our most recent program, which was Blind Date with a Book. I don't know who all saw those in epilogue or not, but I think we sold all but one.
I think it was 17, if I'm not mistaken.
There was 18 altogether, so we've sold 17 of the 18. So we call that a success, and we'll probably plan on doing that again next year because of it. We also have a writing program coming up next week. On Thursday, we have a professor who's coming in, and essentially he's going to cater it to whoever attends. So he doesn't have a plan in place. It's whatever the individual needs is how he's going to treat it. And if it goes well, if he has enough turnout, he's going to do this on a reoccurring basis. In May, we have an origami program coming up called Legend of 1,000 Cranes and Dragons, where you can learn to make origami crane or an origami dragon.
People are signed up. You get some haters over here.
And that'll be May 16th at 10:30. Give you a moment. Down. And then some other programs we have in the works but don't have specific dates. We do have a cyber safety we plan on doing in the summer because even those who are tech savvy are starting to fall to some of the scams. You know, in the past, it was always, the vulnerable. Mm-hmm. It's not just the vulnerable anymore. So we're going to try to have a program for that. And then we're trying to work out 1 or 2 spooky things in the autumn. Any questions?
How many members do you now have?
I think you were at 380.
I think it was 380. I can remember if it's 380 exactly or 386 for some reason is sticking in my head, but I've got it. Shit's got to pull it.
If you know people that haven't already signed up to be a fossil member, please tell them, because if they get to the 400, we'll try to do something fun.
Did all of the previous president's responsibilities fall onto you?
I am the first What's Sydney? That was still with Sydney.
No, we didn't say her name specifically.
If they got to 400, something like that. That needs to Sydney. I think she needs to be back. Yeah, that.
Hey, Sydney is not gone. She's just really, really busy. Okay. She is still active. In fact, she's watching my kids, so I can be here right now.
I think you're going to have some words with her.
I think she's still willing to do the pie in the face.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to do anything because Leah doesn't want to be.
I think it was 380.
I will get the numbers for you on the exact numbers, but it is in the at least
I think
380.
it was around 380 or so. So we're almost at 400.
Almost. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. 382.
And do you have some of the amounts of the recent items we asked for? Not off the top of your head, probably. You know
What do
them.
you mean the items you asked for?
So our funding requests
The
From this past meeting.
yes. So we,
we did approve all the funding requests that came to us this past meeting. We had one for specifically yours or yours and adult reference.
yeah, it would be all of ours. I can go over what you'd like to do.
Go right ahead.
So Fossil was absolutely amazing. They're helping us get 2 new point of sales to have in the adult reference department and also in studio. As the studio is becoming incredibly popular, one of the things we're looking at is that we had planned for it. It's just at this point, we're getting ready. When people start using the machines in the makerspace, when they get to use some of the supplies we already have to learn how to use the machine, but then if they want to continue coming back, we're going to have a system in place so that they can purchase material so they don't have to go out and buy stuff if they weren't aware, that type of thing. Because it can be time consuming, depending. So this is it. Because of this, it made us look at our procedures for not just the studio, but also for doing things like copies and things. Because right now, you have to go to the circulation desk to do any kind of money transaction, which can be a point of contention with staff because some patrons do not like being told, hey, you have to stop exactly what you're doing and go all the way across the building. Well, not all the way across the building, but it's still, they have to go a ways into certain,
Yeah.
so it was a whole thing. So they were very nice enough to help us fund the purchase of those 2 machines so patrons don't have to go running around the building. This is going to be a huge help to keep some, not necessarily very negative, but more stressful transactions with patrons and staff at the reference desk. So we're hoping it'll be more of a positive, user-friendly for patrons to get copies and things. The other funding request that also was amazing funding for us is they are always a major sponsor for adult summer reading. So the reference staff are already in plan for that. I believe the theme for summer reading this year is unearth a story. That's it. We are trying to unearth a story. Pretty sure I have that correct.
Yes.
And we are trying to also, because it is partially, it's like dinosaurs in history. So we are trying to do things potentially like doing a archaeology program. We did a program last fall with a historic place in Winchester that does archaeology digs, and we're seeing if we can maybe team up with them. But we're also trying to do things in partnership with the 250 that can fall under that as well. So a lot of interesting stuff, but this will also cover being able to do prize drawings and things like that, kind of give people incentives in order to get engaged with the challenge and reading in general. And then Fossil is amazing. They're doing a big sponsorship for the Silver Tea in May as well. Okay. There was also with the cables. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, we are always having to get more and more of the folding tables because our events just keep getting bigger and bigger. So this is a great help. So we're not rushing around trying to make these tables work with the folding tables for stuff like taste reviews and things. So, yeah. Great. Any questions for Fossil? Well, thank you, and thank you for everything Fossil does. You know, we couldn't do all this without your help, so we're grateful to you. Okay, over to Cheryl for a county update. Well, I just want to say it was so much nicer this year for the budget, and you guys did a great budget presentation. I think we are going to, it's getting a little fuzzy now. We did a advance on Saturday where we kind of came together on priorities. So Dr. Martin was planning on our work session Tuesday being an up-down, not real clear on what his idea of up-down, but I'm assuming pulling out of, where we are with each budget and trying to make the lines all meet. And so that moving forward will say how much of that budget, every year prior to the last 2 years, we negotiated on things. So where we came together. So that's what I'm hoping that we get back to that process and we work together on that. Do appreciate the library being part of our tourism committee, and that's a great working group. If you get a chance to come to one of our meetings, to sit in and listen and offer some thoughts, you're welcome to do so. Meet again the 26th or before that. Yes, I don't believe it's next week. It's not next weekend, but next week, but the week after, I believe. Yeah, which is usually we bounce around. I'm not sure where we're going. No, Heritage Society will be at, unless that changes. Kind of bounce around so everybody that's not used to being. Some people have never been to the airport, so we went and had a meeting at the airport one time. So I just bounce around to get an idea of what's outside of the in the county, and so that's been great having that committee is growing. Seems like we figure out somebody else to invite along.
Cheryl, how do people look that up? Is there a website or a?
There is a Virginia 250. I don't know.
Does that say when the meetings are?
I don't know if that says when our meetings are, but it says what we're doing and dates and engagements. I know. If anyone on the board is interested, you can always shoot me an email. I can always say, Erin can let you know. I have invited my whole board to attend the next one, so I'll probably put that out as the tourism committee will be meeting, and there may be 2 or more board of supervisors there so that it's not an illegal meeting. I've encouraged them to come because there's the way it's structured at this point is we have 2 representatives, one from the town, one from the county. I'm being from the county. Glenn Wood is the town rep. Lizzie Lewis, who is the community development person for the town, attends. And we don't have a tourism director at this point, but I keep crossing my fingers that we will soon. We did interview for that, and then it was put on hold. And then we put business people. We had Shelley Cook, Richard Runyon, Katie Twell from the Apple House. I'm trying to think. Those particular people haven't been able to make, but they still support us behind the scenes. Whatever we need, we can reach out, but they're just too busy to attend every meeting. And then we've got the Heritage Society, library, Julie from Front Royal Skydiving, she's on the committee. I always, 4-H, Tiffany from Parks and Rec.
Zach Henderson is there, and Zach is our clerk, but he's also has his own drone business. So,
Takes those really awesome drone footage for work.
yeah, like he
Red and stuff.
he does. If you go on Blue Mountain Drone, I think is his business name, because he's got a Facebook page. He's got some awesome pictures on there. He does. So it's a big group, and we keep our money divided, but we share expenses with the town as it seems, the best interest of both groups. So it's working. And that's why I've invited the other board members, because they keep talking about, should we just give the town all of our money and let them do it? Or, and we couldn't do well with that when we tried it several years ago. So I'm of a mind of, this isn't broke, it's working and it's growing, leave it alone. So that's why I've invited them. So the next meeting, maybe they may be there, they may not. Dr. Pence and I are having our third together South River District Community Meeting, and that's going to be March 15th at Skyline High School from 2 to 4. And I asked Erin about the library if they wanted to set up a table, so he said she would. It's just bring whatever you want to bring to be able to say, this is what we do, we're here and what we do. I have, let's see, Dr. Pence is coming, so school will be represented. I've asked the sheriff's department, the fire department, social services. Michelle Smelser, I think, is going to be doing dual role because John just told me Saturday he's got to be in Roanoke, I believe, for a conference. I haven't gotten Northwestern yet, but they're on my list. I've asked, the coalition is coming. You're coming for the coalition. Phoenix, we didn't want to come in my head. Phoenix Project has told me they're going to be there. And I've got the representative from All Points about broadband. He's coming back. So the first one I did was a couple weeks after I was first elected in 2020. I think I had 5 people come. The second one, I had a room full of people like this. 2 people walked in the door. So the third one, I had the broadband person, and we had 68 people come. I think it was the broadband was the big draw there. I just got an email saying I have been FOIA'd for any information or conversations I've had over data centers. So I'm going to assume the room may be full this time because of data centers, which is all well and good if it gets people in the door. I have said for years now, I don't believe Warren County's the best fit for a data center, so I stand by that. And I don't think I've had any conversations that I'm concerned about in emails. I have been reached out to, but I don't even think I responded to any of them. So I'm good there. I do hope that brings in more people. We can have discussions, and I'm glad you guys are going to be represented there. And if you can think of anybody I've left off that might be good to have there, let me know, and I'll be glad to reach out to them. But
That's good.
I think that was, unless someone has anything for me. But
Are the Sons of the American Revolution part of that BA 250 committee?
probably, as far as, Jane and our tourism group, but
Yeah.
if you want to reach out to them and you think that they would be interested, like I said, the more the merrier. It's going to be simple. I know Hike Kids Foundation, I asked them as well. Just set up a table and have information, or, I just want the resources in my head of anybody that walked through the door and didn't know the resources that were out there, that if they wanted to be there, they could, and as much or a little information thereof, because it just, I'm a little concerned that people won't mill around and ask questions, that they're going to want to be in a group, especially if it's about data centers. And But, with the budget, I think this is the perfect time to be, asking questions about budget and schools and that kind of thing of where we're going. So trying to get everybody in the room that affects our budget so that they understand. I guess I should have asked the Humane Society, but I think that was pretty well covered in the community.
All right.
Appreciate all of you and what the library does.
And thank you.
Thank you.
For all you do. Okay, at this point, we need to go into a closed session. Who's on the intro? John? Make a motion? Make a motion.
I move the Board of Trustees go into a closed session in accordance with the Code of Virginia, Section 22-3711A29 for the purpose of discussing contract negotiations and public funding where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy.
Is that number correct?
Could be A6. It could be wrong on your paper.
It says A29 on my paper. Correction, A6.
Thank you.
You want me to reread it?
No. 3711 A6. Correct.
Second.
Seconded by Scott. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay.
Thumbs up. We're good. I move that the board certifies to the best of each member's knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under sections 2.2-3711A6 of the Code of Virginia, and only such public business matters were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body.
The second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. And coming out of that, you want to make the motion, Scott?
I move that we authorize the executive committee to commence discussions with the county over a funding agreement, and that we authorize a draft to be submitted to the county as soon as possible, and for the executive committee to take the lead on discussions with the county.
You want to note the cover letter?
And that be accompanied by a cover letter explaining the relationship between the lease agreement and the funding agreement.
I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. Thank you all. Any old business that anyone needs to bring up?
We gonna vote on, will be just.
Did we not vote? That's fine. No, we did vote. Didn't we vote? Yeah, okay.
You like saving?
No. Did I vote on?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. It's like so much. Did we not vote?
Do you not know what you just did?
Submit or down.
No old business?
Do you want these back?
Yes. That's sure. Any new business?
Well,
Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you so much.